They call me humanity because I'm made of humanity and not persons. And I'm talking about you and I. We are divine brothers and sisters. And as such, we have nothing to do apart from being humanity. A people of love, purpose, divine intelligence, shared adversity, and shared meaning. This is who we are. And that is why they call me humanity. It does means that I am not just myself, I am you, and you and I. We're all together as one. So if you look at the world, you would see that governance seem not to be working all over the world. You can testify that people are always hell-bent on collective destruction. You can see that those in government are always fighting for their pockets. And the masses always seem to be confused, seem to be deprived, seem to always be in perpetual exploitations. You then ask, what could be the problem? What is the situation? How is it that illogically the duties of those in government or the leaders is to scope while the masses cope? Why is it that hope has become the product that every institution or every society or government are selling? Look around the world. Even companies are only selling hope. They don't sell. They seldom sell value. Governments are selling hope. They hardly sell dividends of democracy. Democracy as a form of government is only selling promise. It hardly sells dividends. Technologies at the highest level, most often than not, are only selling promises. They hardly sell value. So when you look at it from a deeper perspective, then you are tempted to think, is it that the world is defined by promises, promises over promises? Is it defined by hope, hope, hopes? Why is it difficult for a democratic government to sell dividends? Why is it difficult for the people to experience the dividend themselves, apart from what is written in the manifestos? Why is it always about products and promises? Why do promises end up being the product and the product end up being promise? So, as a marketing professional, I look at how institutions from time to time how they position themselves to advertise their product. And I say that at the end of the day, most of the product end up becoming just promises. I also look at the society, how societies have been governed, and I see that most times democratic anointings become democratic annoyance. So political parties are preoccupied with how to tailor political promises to convince people into voting them into power. And upon assumption of office, what the people get in return is promises at the highest level and no dividends. Then you want to ask, what could be the problem? Is it the problem of scarcity of resources? Could it challenge the reason why people are unable to perform? Is it the problem of lack of resources or scarcity of resources? But the evidence shows that nature has no lack. Every society is blessed with abundance. Every society has more than enough to cater to the needs of the people. How come government are unable to meet the needs of their people? It takes us to the what the problem is. So the problem actually is not the problem of scarcity of resources, rather it's the problem of management of abundance. It is a problem of leadership, problem of management. How do the selective few, the privileged few, in charge of the affairs of the majority, the less privileged, how do they manage their affairs? How do they manage the resources to cater to the needs of the common people? This has always been the problem. And the privileged few could have done very well, but because of vested interest, the lack of understanding of what governance and leadership is, they hardly come true for the people. Politicians all over the world could have done better, but they hardly can do better because they don't know better. And even when they do know, their propensity always override their intentionality and fidelity to greater common good. This has been the problem with the society. It has eaten deep into the society to the point that if you look at it very well, you see that it has become a pattern. That a government will be in place, the people would complain and complain over complaints. Once that government tenure expires and another government is elected, the worst happens. That's the pattern. Then you want to ask, is it that we don't have enough intelligence to govern or guide ourselves? But that's not the case. At all levels, when you look at humanity and all the logical likes that characterize the human experience, you always see that nature shows, evidence shows, history shows that lack, scarcity is not the problem. We possess intelligence to drive ourselves. And not just ordinary intelligence, we possess quantum intelligence. Like intelligence is the most universal thing in the world. All life forms possess intelligence. But the giants are never outside. They are never inside. They're always outside. And that's the problem with intelligence. Instead of us to act from within, the essence of intelligence, we act from outside. We act without. That's the problem. We lack authenticity. We always jettison on the authenticity for trends, for following. We run from originality for copying, copy and paste to become everybody else. So if we talk about the human challenges, the problems that humanity faces at all human domain, we can't exhaust the options. And that's why at Logic Republic, our duty basically is to focus on what the solutions are. So a society that sells hope and not dividends, a capitalist system where innovations only sell promises and not value. The solution is to overhaul all the system. The solution is to present a new mentality shift. The solution is to for all to position for transformation and stop resisting transformation. Part of the solutions is for all of us to come together and work together. Part of the ways we can work together is to embrace the philosophy of we are made of humanity and not persons. It's for us to arise and work in all participation instead of competition. It's for us to embrace the culture of tolerance. Part of the solutions is to embrace the concept or principle of greater common good, which states our fidelity to purpose must at all times equal to intentionality greater than propensity. Our intentionality is our effort, commitment to all that we share, all that we believe in, all that makes us a human, purposeful, dignified being. This is what we call intentionality. Our fidelity is the sacrifices that we make towards ensuring that we have our shared meaning, shared values prevail over shared adversity. Our propensity is the lack of indiscipline, the lack of commitment, or all natural or artificial urge or inclinations towards corruption, evil, destructions, intolerance, indiscipline, all the negative energies and vibes that militate against us having a prosperous, peaceful, and fulfilling society. All that stand in our way from having an authentic, brilliant human experience and expressions. This is what we call propensity. Greed is one. It's a major player, it's a major propensity. Illusion is a major propensity that we need to manage. We can't do away with them. Therefore, there's a need for us to rise above them by intelligently and creatively managing them. Confusion is one of our propensities. Shared adversity. Greed, illusion, confusion. These are serious propensities. I call them shared adversity. So our shared values and meanings must prevail, must rise above these three. So part of the solutions to the state that we are is that we must evolve. We must begin to exert energies in the right places and towards the right direction until we are deliberate in all our efforts towards ensuring that we have a monocratic, a people-centric society, an all-participation society. Then propensity would always climb up while our intentionality will always keep going down. So before now, philosophy has always been theoretical and a display of thinkability or intelligence. In our time, philosophy is not something that is distant. It's not theoretical. It's not just about writing on the wall or in the classrooms. Philosophy has become a product. We have productized a philosophy in the most socially responsive and economic ways that people can relate with, that people can afford. So the mission here as Logic Republic is to domesticate philosophy, solutions that people can identify with, that can solve literally all the problems in the society. So if we look at the world and we think that our problems are greater than us and therefore we cannot solve them, or would require someone, a savior, to come from above to solve our problems, then humanity will remain wherever it is that it is now forever. But if we are humble enough and intentional enough to accept that whatever problems that we are faced with as humanity, we possess more than enough intelligence and capacity to solve them. If we take up that responsibility, then we shall prevail over all challenges, all problems. Nobody will wake from sleep and rise up to do something unless that body is inspired by something. We need that inspiration. We need to be inspired by our problems. And we need to rise up for solution. We need to rise up for solutions. We need to rise up to our challenge. And collectivity is the only way out. Individuality would only create more problems. Collectivity is the only way out. The only way out is that we are made of humanity and not persons. That's the only way out. Someone asked me some time ago, why do you talk about humanity? Why not business? But you're a businessman. Yes. Yes, I do business, but I'm not by default a businessman. I'm not called to this world to become a businessman. My becoming is humanity. So I'm God experiencing humanity. So I am in this space to function as humanity. And so it's everybody. We are immortal beings experiencing mortality. So we are not going to forget who we are and jettison our true essence for the temporary pleasures of the world. We do business so that we can have sustainability, so we can feed, so we can create economic legacies. But it is not the legacy of the soul. It's not the legacy of who we are. It's not the legacy of the essence. It has nothing to do, economics has nothing to do with our purpose. The real reason why we are here is to evolve, to arise, to flow from potential through possibilities, and to arrive manifestation. Upon manifestation, we all experience completion. Once this happens, you hit the wall of return and you return back to potential. This is the flow. It's an eternal conversation of being. The flow is an eternal conversation of being, an unbroken rhythm of evolution. Change, 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 unlimited, non-stop. So we cannot base our life on profit alone. There has to be societal gains, how the society accelerates or elevates from that level to this level. There has to be that acceleration and growth. And this is what we should be looking at. That an individual can only find fulfillment, growth, and progress and accomplishment when they work towards societal growth, development, and advancement. And the society itself alone can experience own growth and development and advancement when the society takes time to develop the individuals. The issue of humanity is a sensitive one, and we need to pay careful attention to it. We need to rise from our comfort zones, from our absolute distractions, and focus on humanity. If you look around the world, you would see that an average person is disgruntled with themselves, with the society. They are unsatisfied, they are unfulfilled. Billionaires are always lonely, sad. In their private time, they are always empty. There's this emptiness that they feel. Those who have not made money think that once you make money, that's all there is. Those who have seen money, when they make the money, they discover that there's more to life than a cheese. So you see a situational irony of those in the parlor rushing to the bedroom squalor and those in the bedroom squalor rushing to the parlor. If you're in the parlor, you think that something sweet is happening in the bedroom. Those in the bedroom are already tired of the bedroom and they want to come to the parlor. Those in the bedroom think that there's a special type of entertainment, engagement that is happening in the parlor, in the living room. And those in the living room think that something special and sweet is happening in the bedroom. This is where we are in society. What you have got, you want to lose it. And what you don't have, you yearn for it. Humanity cannot function at its highest level without the idea of purpose. It's not possible. So when we talk about humanity, we talk about purpose. Without discipline, purpose, and sacrifices. Humans are only animals that can tell beautiful stories. Beautiful stories. Without purpose, sacrifice, and discipline, humans are only animals that can tell beautiful stories. We don't want to be reduced to storytellers. We do not want to be reduced to that. Hence, there has to be purpose, there has to be sacrifice, there has to be discipline. This is what we require to attain our fullest potential. We require discipline, purpose, and sacrifices. The solution to the human problem is nothing alien, it's not something special, something that's out of the world that's never been imagined. We just require a bit of ingenuity and creativity to drive home the point, to adopt the principles and the laws, to apply them. We require a level of humility to apply the solutions. We require a bit of letting go and grasping, a bit of humility to live together, to evolve, to submit ourselves to transformation. It is not something that we keep resisting, something that we run from, something that we avoid. It is something we should surrender to, make ourselves available for, position for, something that we become, something that we are. When I walk around the world, ideally, the word that should prevail over every word in the dictionary should be transformation. Everything in the world seems to be aligned for transformation, seems to be becoming transformation, seems to arise from transformation, seems to be working, evolving towards transformation. You see endless evolution in everything. So we cannot be stuck or rigid when we require to evolve. When there's a need to flow, we can't be moving or we can't stay stagnant. All we need is a bit of understanding, humility, and just a bit of hard work. I still try to imagine the impossibility of humanity coming together. But all I see is possibility. I see that it's not something that is too much for us to do. It's not something that, because it's not foreign, it's not something that we are not and we are pretending or we are trying to become. No, we are actually humanity. We are one. We are one. So we are not pretending to say we are one. We are one. We are just one people made of humanity and not persons. But of course, religion, distorted history, and broken identities has separated us. Profit has separated us. Illusions has separated us. False sense of entitlement, false sense of activity, false sense of separation has separated us. So we can perceive that what is false and artificial has become so solid and construed for what is truth. But in actuality, the reality is that we are one people, humanity, who live through the eternal breath of humanity and not persons. We underestimate our strength when we come together. When we become one, when we become humanity, we underestimate our strength. So at Logic Republic, we are appealing to the world that we need to embrace the true us and forget about our false self. The solution we are proposing at Logic Republic is to show humanity, the world, the evolution of what it means to be human beings made of humanity and not persons. This is what we are doing at Logic Republic. And we are appealing to everybody around the world. Let's join hands together. Let's walk in purpose. Let's walk in peace. Let's walk in abundance, in prosperity for all. Governance does not have to be about politicians thriving. It has to be the society thriving, individuals thriving, and a bit of the people in charge also thriving. So it has to be, we need to redefine what it is, what victory, winning is for our generation. We must redefine what victory, accomplishment, success, and winning, what it is for our generation. Accomplishment, success, or winning. Winning is not about how we are able to do all right now. It is not about how we are able to assemble all that we desire. It's about the sacrifices and the effort that we make towards that which we ought to have that we currently do not have, in the way that it makes it easier for the next generation to easily have them and spread them beyond. This is what accomplishment should be and success should begin to look like. In our generation, success and accomplishment should be sowing. It might not be reaping. Sowing in a way that reaping becomes easier for the next generation. Planting in a way that harvesting becomes easier for the next generation. This is what it means to be accomplished, successful in this generation. If we don't do it, we are living serious bargain for the next generation. An ordeal that they have to put up with that they may not be able to put up with. Every battle that is not won, it's a carryover for the next generation. But if we cannot win today's battles, what then are we here to do? Are we here to just celebrate life, complain, and exit? No, that's not what we are here to do. We are bigger than that. We possess so much to prevail over our propensities. This generation, the accomplishment and usefulness of this generation just might be to be able to identify what the problems that has lingered and put in structures that can address and redress them so that next generation can continue in the legacy that the current generation has left behind. This is what accomplishment might begin to look like for us alive right now. So, humility, sacrifices, efforts, hard work is not something that should be far from us. It's something that we should be becoming and embracing. It should be the new culture for those alive. If there has to be a culture that is worthy inculcating into people, then it has to be the culture of tolerance, humility, sacrifices, hard work, discipline. This has to be the new culture. And if we have to talk about victory, accomplishment, success, and winning for this generation, we have to talk about sowing and not reaping. We have to talk about planting and not harvesting. This alone is more than enough for this generation. We cannot meet a world that is so messed up and we continue messing it up, yet we are producing generations that will come and inherit this mess. And we think that because we have been able to amass so much billions in our account, then we have succeeded or we are accomplished. No, we are failures if we do this. If the generation before us could not solve the problem and we met them, if we can't solve them, we shouldn't bring up another generation with the hopes to leave the problems for them to solve. No. It is either we stay stuck and face our challenges, solve them, focus on the patterns, solve the patterns with new patterns before we bring up another generation. Or while we are bringing up other generations, we are focused on solving what the problems are. so that the new generations can inherit the solutions from us. We can't avoid the solutions and use technical escapism to escape our responsibilities and leave the problems for generations to come. Because this is what has led to where we are today. This is a clarion call to humanity, all human beings around the world. We possess more than enough intelligence to drive ourselves. Fulfillment should be our core, should be the purpose, should be the reason why we live. Why we exist should be for a purposeful acceleration, a flow from potential through possibilities and towards manifestation. We are not here to exist in complaints, in tragedies, and then exit living the tragedies for generations to come to inherit same tragedies that we could not address. This is not why we are here. Clarion call to you out there. Humanity is more than enough for us. And common sense, common, is all sufficient. We do not require intelligence. Intelligence is basic. It's too much. We have it too much. In fact, it's our problem. Intelligence is our problem. It's time to begin to look for understanding. And when understanding refuses to stand under, those under should rise above the tragedies, above the problems with wisdom. This is what we need. Thank you for listening. Yeah, so the entirety of this discussion is to let the world know that we are made of humanity and not persons. And the Logic Republic solution is basically a socially responsive system and innovation that we have taken 30 years to design, basically to show us the evolution of what it means to be a human being made of humanity and not persons. This is what we are focused on doing. There is nothing more out there. This is our conviction. There's nothing more out there than humanity. Profit, billions, is just a privilege for being a human being. But fulfillment, purposeful living, comes from being a humanity and not persons. Thank you.